Why, hello there! You seem to have caught me during my annual holiday tradition of sitting next to the fireplace and making sure I have all my fingers. Actually, just give me a second. I was almost finished. 8, 9. I had to have missed one somewhere. I'll get back to that later. I hope you're feeling the holiday cheer in here tonight. I did my best to decorate for the season. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any presents for under the tree this year. Turns out all that diabetes I decided to get a few months ago was, a little expensive. Wish they would have told me that ahead of time. Anyways, since you're here, why don't we read a story and spread some holiday cheer? I've actually got one right next to me. A Very Merry Chipssmas. This one is a classic. Let's dive right in.
Our story begins with an adult man who played video games. This wasn't just your ordinary loser though, no. This man played Nintendo games. His name was Chips. There he is, right there. No, we are not related, shut up. Chips was just your average shower skipper and deodorant forgetter. But that was all about to change.
Greetings!
Ah!
Great heavens! Are you done?
Maybe. Hold on. Okay, I'm good.
Well then, I am the Unnamed. I come here with important information.
Man, your mom must have hated you.
I do not have a mother. I am a celestial being with immeasurable...
Okay, Mr. No Name.
I am here to deliver this proclamation unto you.
Damn!
On behalf of Shigeru Miyamoto, I bring you this proclamation concerning a Chips. That is you, right?
Who else do I look like? A Deborah?
You know, that is actually the name of my chiropractor.
Hold up. Did you say this was from Shigeru Miyamoto?
Yes. Do you know them?
Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario.
The creator of whom?
Also, why would you even bring the message to me if you didn't know if I knew who he was?
Like I said, it's actually considered a proclamation.
Just read it already!
Very well. Next, it says, Chips, you have recently caught my attention with some of the things you had to say about my Mario. With the holiday season quickly approaching, I'd like to ask you to stop doing that, as it could negatively impact the sales of Mario's games. Regards, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Are you f***ing kidding me? Why does it matter what I say? There's like 3 people who know who I am.
Oh, I am sure it is more than that.
In fact, just because he said that, I'm gonna go ahead and say some more bad stuff about Mario. There's plenty I left out before.
We all know that Mario was the one who revolutionized the video game industry, raising it up from its imminent demise in 1985 and ushering in a new era of gaming. After that, he continued to redefine the platforming genre and eventually branched out to plenty of other genres as well.
Mario just asked me to play backgammon with him. What is going on?
Sadly though, in recent years, many entries into the Mario franchise have been, to put it short, uninspired as shit. Pardon my frequent language today, but it was necessary to articulate that point. I've already talked about the lack of an interesting story in many Mario games, especially the recent ones, and while I personally see that as a shortcoming of the games, objectively, a story isn't exactly necessary to create an enjoyable experience. My problems with story are only a byproduct of what I really want to talk about today though. Essentially, the Mario series has reached a point of complacency in the design of many of its games, and I believe this is a serious problem that is hindering the franchise from being as great as it could be. Let me explain. You know what this is, right? Do you also know what this is? What about this one? And I'm sure you know what this one is. What do all of these characters have in common? They are staples of the Mario franchise, being seen in just about every single game in the series. Is this a bad thing? Not necessarily, but it becomes a bad thing if they are literally the only characters used in the entire game. Yes, to a certain extent, this has happened with the majority of recent Mario releases. These are staples, not substance. You don't see me stapling a stack of papers together that have nothing on them. Why the hell would I do that? Yet, that's essentially what is happening here. Mario games get released with nothing but a bunch of Toads, Goombas, Koopas, and the like, all while Bowser continues to be the main antagonist for the 343rd time. Obviously, there are more mainstays such as Shy Guys, Spikes, Pokies, Cheep Cheeps, Chain Chomps, Piranha Plants, Buzzy Beetles, Bullet Bills, and Dry Bones, but you wanna know something? Every single enemy I just listed saw its first appearance in or before Super Mario Bros. 3, which released in 1990. There's nothing new! I was negative 11 years old.
By the gods! You are a young one! I myself am 400,000 years old! 400 what? How are you not a pile of dust by now? Like I said, I am a celestial being with immeasurable...
I'll just stop you there. This isn't f***ing Star Wars. This is real life. You sound like an idiot.
You are talking a fair amount of smack for someone who cannot live forever.
Why don't we just get back to the Mario?
However, I am not going to ignore the obvious exception to this trend, the 3D Mario series. Super Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2, 3D Land and World, as well as Odyssey, all contain significantly more enemies and characters that have never been seen before they released, or again anytime afterwards in comparison to any other Mario series. The 3D games rarely disappoint, and I'd like to clarify that they are not what I am referring to in this discussion. Aside from the Bowser part, that still f***ing sucks here. Regardless, the exception for 3D Mario is what makes this problem even more odd though. Why does only one pillar of the Mario franchise get this treatment? The uniqueness of the 3D Mario series shocks the industry every single time a new entry is released. Okay, almost every single time. Either way, with all the other games, is it really that hard to refrain from making Goomba and Koopa level number 457?
No. You don't understand, boss. We've already placed so many Goombas. I can't place another one. I just can't.
Listen to yourself. Such a useless animal. You're a coward. You know that? Place the Goomba. Place the Goomba now!
The new Super Mario Bros. Games are the greatest culprits of this. Their problems, of which I have discussed in great detail before, largely consist of an unnecessary amount of repetition. In my eyes, the first game in the series on the DS still remains the best entry after more than 15 years, and that's because every game after just felt like a slightly modified copy of the first with one new thing that's supposed to sell the game. In every entry after the first, the same exact bosses, the Koopalinks, were used in every single world with slight modifications. The worlds themselves used the exact same generic themes of grass, desert, jungle, beach, snow, clouds, and volcano. Give me something different for the love of God. I don't care what you do. Make a toilet world for all I care. It'll definitely be more interesting than yet another grassy plain. I may be exaggerating a bit here for effect, and for the record, I think New Super Mario Bros. U is a close second to the original because of its superb level design, of which I have discussed in great detail before. Every other problem that is common in the series still stands in this entry though. My point is, every game in this series after the first is not what Mario is all about. Mario games aren't supposed to be lackluster, samey releases that you just pump out whenever you want to make a quick buck, even though barely anything changed when compared to the previous release. This isn't FIFA, this is Mario. We can't stoop that low.
Oh, but I really do enjoy FIFA. You get weirder and weirder the longer you're in here.
There's a reason why every single entry in the series sold worse than the last. There wasn't nearly enough innovation or evolution in each entry to keep bringing players back, and people caught on to this pretty quick. This problem isn't exclusive to the 2D platformers at all though. Most notably, the 3 most recent entries to the Paper Mario series have the same issue, only using the franchise mainstays and maybe introducing a couple original characters, but not nearly as many as the first 2 games did. Many people also have problems with the shift to a different type of gameplay in the newer entries of the Paper Mario series, but I'd like to say right now that's a completely different discussion in and of itself. I just want to focus on the characters and enemies here. To start, let's take a look at some of the characters introduced in the first 3 games, which are widely considered to be the best entries in the series. This is Sir Grodus from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, an extraterrestrial being who leads the secret society of X-Nauts, a small group that was hell-bent on awakening a 1,000-year-old demon to help them take over the world. This is Flint Cragley from Super Paper Mario, a headstrong explorer who runs a TV show called Flint Cragley Cragtrotter. No matter the circumstance, Flint always acts like he is in his TV show, confidently narrating the situation at hand and acting like he has everything under control, even though that is almost never the case. This is the Crystal King from the original Paper Mario, the ruler of the Crystal Palace, a former shrine of the Star Spirits with a labyrinthian, mirror-filled layout. The Crystal King was hired by Bowser and holds in his possession the final Star Spirit of the game. Now, let's take a look at some characters that were introduced in the newer games. Let's start with probably the most interesting enemy in Paper Mario Sticker Star. This is Mr. Blizzard, a snowman that wished not to melt in the spring. His wish was granted, and he turned into a shiny sticker. That's it. That is the most interesting enemy in the entire game. This is Huey from Paper Mario Color Splash, Mario's companion throughout the duration of the game. Huey is a floating paint bucket that can talk and shows his emotions through the color of the strip across his eyes. Huey has a very strong affection for, get this, paint. I know, crazy to think of, right? And finally, this is Bob-omb from Paper Mario the Origami King. You may be thinking, that's not a character, that's just a species of enemy. No, Bob-omb is a partner that Mario has for a significant portion of the game, and his name is literally just Bob-omb. He joins the party after suffering from amnesia in an effort to recall his memories, but that's about as interesting as he gets. This is one of the best examples of the lack of interesting characters in newer Mario games. They couldn't even give him a unique name, let alone anything to distinguish him from any other Bob-omb other than the fact that he's missing his fuse. He is often referred to by Olivia with multiple other names, but he always responds to her by clarifying that they are in fact not his real name. The worst of this problem, however, comes in the form of one character in particular. In the 3 most recent entries, toads have been the most abundant species in the game by a long shot. However, the problem doesn't exactly lie with the abundance of toads, but more with the lack of uniqueness to any of them. Many times the only difference between them is their color, save for a few toads with different articles of clothing. The sad thing about this though, as you may have guessed, is that the first 2 games often used existing species from the Mario universe and gave them unique attributes that go far beyond a simple color change or addition of clothing. For example, Admiral Bobbery, a Bob-omb sailor from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, sports a captain's hat and a respectable mustache. Additionally, the spot where the wind-up key would usually be on a Bob-omb is replaced with the helm of a ship. This is how you create an interesting character that stands out both aesthetically and narratively. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the half-naked Toad from Origami King. Basically, the most that gets done with the newer entries is adding, or apparently removing, clothing from the characters, as well as changing colors like I already mentioned. Unfortunately, no other changes are made, and I feel that it's really holding the games back from feeling unique and having their own identity. Little by little, I would say the games have gotten slightly better at least trying to create more unique characters, but one small problem is holding them back from going all the way, even if they wanted to, and that was a singular, permanent statement that came from none other than Shigeru Miyamoto himself at the start of Sticker Star's development. Gensuke Tanabe, the director of Paper Mario, recalls the conversation in an Iwata Asks interview by stating, "Aside from wanting us to change the atmosphere a lot, there were 2 main things that Miyamoto-san said from the start of the project. It's fine without a story, so do we really need one? And, as much as possible, complete it with only characters from the Super Mario world. This has been a concrete rule for the Paper Mario series ever since then, completely abandoning the creation of new species that weren't previously established in the Mario universe. The reasoning of which I have tried time and time again to understand, but simply couldn't. The closest thing that made sense to me came from the same Iwata Asks interview, where Tanabe mentions that they surveyed Club Nintendo, which was essentially just a service created for fans of Nintendo, and less than 1% of the responses to the survey said that Super Paper Mario's story was interesting, which was the entry preceding Sticker Star. This essentially told the developers that interesting characters and a deep story weren't necessary for the Paper Mario games. However, I don't know who the hell these Club Nintendo members were that answered this survey, but everyone I've asked or heard from usually thinks that Super Paper Mario had the best story in the entire series. In fact, Super Paper Mario still stands as the best-selling Paper Mario game of all time. Partly because it was on an extremely popular console, but if it was a bad game, it wouldn't have sold that well anyway. Regardless, from this survey specifically, it was clear to the developers that whoever these people were, they were only interested in gameplay. However, this still doesn't answer the question as to why original characters that aren't already part of the Mario universe were also essentially banned. A lack of story I can at least understand a little bit, but this I feel is simply an unnecessary restriction that suppresses creativity. The only true redeeming quality that I think the newer entries possess is in their writing. Fortunately, the great comedic conversational dialogue that was present since the first game never went away. What many characters lack in distinct personality, both visually and internally, they make up for with witty one-liners and interesting remarks, and even on some rare occasions, some somber moments. I think it's important to mention the quality of this, as it helps the games keep the small amount of personality they had left. I don't want it to seem like I think these games are horrible, because they definitely aren't. They simply just do not hold a candle to what came before them, at least in regards to the story, world building, and characters. I find it interesting that Miyamoto said that it was fine without a story. Technically, he is correct. The game is fine without a story, but it isn't great. That's like just eating a piece of bread with absolutely nothing on it. Sure, it's fine, but why would you do that? It's just going to taste, well, boring. One of the main reasons that Paper Mario is beloved by its fans is the fact that it took the world of Mario and expanded its scope much further than any other game in the franchise had done before. These Goombas, Koopas, and Bob-ombs weren't just disposable enemies that Mario killed and forgot about anymore. They had families, contributed to a society, and most importantly, had their own unique identity. Along with the phenomenal stories of the earlier games that just got better with each consecutive entry up until Super Paper Mario, a living, breathing, and believable world was created that both stayed within the proverbial lines of a Mario game and expanded it in a way that constantly kept the player guessing. Removing that essentially strips away what made the game so admired in the first place. That's why the first 3 games, at least concerning the story, weren't just fine, they were amazing. The newer entries simply feel predictable, uninspired, and entirely restricted from true greatness.
Hey! I paid my taxes, I swear! If you're gonna decide to take a quick nap on the job, please don't do it in my bedroom. Oh, I am truly sorry. You were very much boring me with all that Mario talk.
You're free to leave at any time. You've already delivered your stupid proclamation. Why are you even still here?
Let us just say there is more to attend to.
Now what's that supposed to mean?
You will forget I said that.
Okay. 1, what the was that? And 2, it didn't work.
Oh, no. I must have performed an incorrect finger maneuver.
Uh-huh. Well, I should probably at least get out of bed if you're planning on staying here.
Ah, yes. Speaking of staying here, where will I be dwelling in the coming days?
In the coming days? Not unless you plan on paying my rent.
Rent? Now what is that?
Oh my god. Do you celestial idiots know anything?
Actually, let us stay at my place. Doing so will make things much smoother in the long run.
Whoa. I'm not trying to go wherever you're going, man. I am fine staying at my house and talking about Nintendo.
Silence! I'm about to cast a spell.
The what? No, wait. Hold on. Let's talk about it.
So now one of your spells wants to work. Stay right there. I need to go find someone. Feel free to take a seat and keep talking about Mario. Now where did I put that?
Sit where? I can't see the floor. Where is the floor?
Obviously, along with a lack of uniqueness and innovation comes an absence of personality and charm, just as I've already touched on a bit earlier in this discussion. Specifically though, I think the greatest example of this issue comes in the newer Mario sports games. At least for me, the most recent entry in the Mario Sports franchise, Mario Golf Super Rush, comes to mind first. However, my problems with this game do not lie with the characters, as the sports entries are much more likely to capture a casual audience, therefore making it a better idea to have recognizable characters in the game. My problems also do not lie with the story either. The stories used in the adventure mode of the two most recent sports entries, Mario Tennis Aces and obviously Super Rush, are much better than I expected. Plus, they're sports games. They didn't really need a story in the first place. This is a scenario where a story actually isn't necessary, and doesn't hinder the experience of the game. Now, people do have their opinions on the quality of the actual gameplay in these adventure modes, but that's not what we're talking about today. My problems with recent Mario sports games lie in the personalities of the characters themselves, or should I say, lack of personalities. Every golf game in the Mario franchise has unique animations that play for each character after scoring an eagle, birdie, par, bogey, or double bogey in golf. Initially, these animations would highlight each character's unique attributes and aspects of their personality, sometimes even putting in references to the games they came from. I believe the execution of this concept peaked with the release of Mario Golf World Tour in 2014, where each character's animation expertly highlighted their personality, abilities, and best of all, went completely over the top with each animation. Toadstool Tour was also one of my personal favorites when it came to the character animations.
Alright, Mario. Oh my, get your ass up. It's one hole. Wait, is that Wario? Damn!
Ever since then, though, each consecutive game has slowly stripped away the animations for seemingly no reason. With the most recent entry, Mario Golf Super Rush, essentially not having any unique animations whatsoever. Every character feels like a shell of their former self, essentially doing nothing in comparison to their previous animations. All the charm that came from that aspect of the previous game is now gone, and at least for me, it makes the game considerably more boring. Now it feels more like a generic golf game and less like a Mario game. Funnily enough, many have also commented on how Super Rush relies too heavily on making the experience actually feel like real-life golf, when that is not at all what players are looking for in a Mario golf game. Heck, even the user interface is entirely uninspired and bland compared to the previous games in the series. A Mario game, no matter what it is expected to be fun, whimsical, creative, and over the top all the way through. And while Super Rush definitely does have some of that, it falls extremely short of its predecessors. Especially in the standard golf mode, the game is literally starting to feel more like PGA Tour than Mario Golf. The only thing keeping it from being that is probably the somewhat unique stage designs and hazards, along with the special shots that are unique to each character. But even the functions of those shots get reused across a couple characters, so it all just ends up feeling like a boring mess. These problems start to make a lot more sense once you know that the game was most likely extremely rushed to its release. Just like many recent games of the modern era, a game will be released with an embarrassingly low amount of content at launch because it had to meet a strict release window. This lack of content will then be remedied via the release of patches branded as free content updates. But everyone sees past the bullshit. The game wasn't finished, you released it anyway, and you're using the luxury we now have of pushing out updates over the internet to essentially justify the release of a clearly unfinished and content-lacking game. But that's a problem with many games, not just Mario. I'm getting off topic.
Still going, eh? I can't believe you call this place a home. There is zero consistency anywhere whatsoever. What do you mean by that? Just watch. When I touch this spot, one thing will happen the first time,
I forgot I put that in there. And when I touch it again, something else will happen. Right. That is because you are not native to this dimension. You possess much less control here than you do back home. So, how come you didn't have less control in my dimension then? Well, I am not sure if you know this, but I am a celestial being with... Alright! I get it. Didn't know that was your only personality trait. Anywho, let me introduce you to the individual I was retrieving while I was away. This is the not named. Of course that's what you call him. He may be a bit more knowledgeable and fit for all of this Mario nonsense. Hey. Well, at least this one doesn't sound like Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm gonna let you finish your whole spiel here, because it seems like you were pretty close to being done, but after that, we gotta talk. You're acting like it's pretty important. Can't we just... Nope. Okay. I'll be leaving you chaps to it. I have some other business to attend to.
All in all, I truly believe that in many cases, Nintendo has lost sight of what made Mario so amazing in the first place. They have continuously been known to put out genre-defining games on each console they release, and it's obvious they can still do that. But in recent years, everything in between has been shaky, to say the least. While slight improvements have been made since the Wii U era with some of the games, many Mario-related releases nowadays can often feel like a cash grab in a sense. After all, Mario is an extremely recognizable character all across the world. Any game involving him is going to sell well, regardless of its quality, and I think that's a big reason why Nintendo thinks they can keep getting away with these, and I hate to say it, lazy releases.
Alright, I guess I'm done. Great, let's get started then. Also, what is with that unnamed dude? Why does he act like that, and why are you working with him? Oh, he gets that question a lot. He acts like that because he's British. What about the other question? Oh, well, he thinks I'm working with him, but this time I'm not. So you've worked with him before? Yeah, but that was before he started acting like this. Like what? Like a little bitch. That I cannot argue with. The whole reason I had you finish your whole Mario talking thing was so he could leave the area. Something's not right with him. Wait, so you didn't actually want to hear the rest of what I had to say? Did I make it seem like that? I don't give a shit about your opinion. There's probably like 3 people who know who you are. A little harsh, but I guess you're not wrong. So, what's going on with the unnamed? We're pretty sure his body has been taken over by a malevolent host. Seemingly one that has something against you specifically. Way to sugarcoat it, man. Celestials aren't supposed to enter the human dimension unless absolutely necessary. He's been doing exactly that at random intervals quite frequently over the past few days. That's what set the first red flag for us. The second red flag came from him interacting with you, of which we are also not supposed to do even if we do enter into the human dimension. So what's this mean for me? Is he gonna kill me or something? I don't think that's his main goal. It almost seems like he just wants to suppress you. He brought you to the celestial dimension without your consent, which is also against the rules, but I think we've already established he doesn't give a rat's ass about those. The real kicker here is that to get you back, he has to cast a spell, and he is the only one that can cast the spell. And he's definitely not going to do that. Exactly. So we need to do something about it, and fast. We have no way of predicting what he could do next. So you saw past my ruse. I thought I was playing the part pretty well. Not at all. He told me everything. I'm not going to let you get away with this. Ha! I have no worries. It is much too late for you. My plan is already in full effect. What plan? Every single person who had the audacity to talk badly about Mario is now stuck in the celestial dimension forever. You told me that Mario bored you. Ha ha! Looks like I fooled him. Listen, I know that's not really you. This is not allowed or okay in any fashion. You think you know everything. I am simply cleansing the human dimension of its filth. This ends now, unnamed. Send everyone back to where they belong. I don't want to have to resort to violence. Violence! What a magnificent idea. It only makes sense that my greatest adversaries would receive a much grimmer fate than the others.
Wait, this is my house. Why would he take me back already? Don't be fooled.
We're still in the celestial dimension. He probably set up this illusion just to mess with you.
Stop telling him everything! I thought I could trust you!
You can't just lock up everyone who disagrees with you. It's not right.
It's my Mario! If it involves him, I'll do whatever the hell I want!
My Mario?
You have recently caught my attention with some of the things you had to say about my Mario.
I think I know who the host is.
What?
How?
Fine then! Now you know!
Shigeru Miyamoto. Why didn't I think of this? Well, at least now that we know who he is, we know how to take him down.
What? How do you already know?
This has happened before. Miyamoto's consciousness extends far beyond his human body. I'm not even f***ing surprised at this point. Okay, all you need to do is start shouting negative opinions about Mario. It doesn't even matter if they're true. In fact, those are usually more effective. He cannot handle strong negativity about Mario in this form.
I can't do that. I only give fair and honest criticisms. I'm not the type of person to...
Do you want your dignity or your life? You better pick one pretty soon.
Super Mario Odyssey is too short.
How dare you say that? It is of perfect length.
That wasn't harsh enough. Dig deeper.
What? Mario Kart DS smells bad.
Ah!
Bob-ombs don't have enough hair. The way Bowser walks is really annoying.
Stop now!
Mario teaches typing, didn't even teach me typing.
Ugh, I can't handle it anymore. Those are the stupidest opinions I have ever heard.
Oh my god!
Unnamed? Are you back?
And better than ever, old chap. Who would have thought I'd be the next one possessed by Miyamoto?
Definitely not me.
So, Shigeru Miyamoto possessing celestial beings of immeasurable power is a normal occurrence. Glad I didn't bet on that one.
Let's get this guy back to his home dimension. I'm sure he's tired of being stuck in the middle of all the shit we gotta deal with.
Yeah, if you're ever looking for someone to hire onto your team, don't call me.
Right then, let's get that spell cast. We still have many others to free as well.
And thus, Chips was returned to his home dimension, bid farewell to his new celestial friends, and returned to his simple life as a Nintendo fan.
The end. Wow. Brings a tear to my eye every time. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go figure out this whole missing a finger thing. Happy holidays.
Yeah, and I only ended up with 9. Do you think I should try counting them again?